All right, well, we are coming into Bush now to race our 206 kart. I've only done one race in this thing. Really excited to race again. But anyway, look at how many people are here. This is crazy. I mean, I guess it is the first race since the old COVID situation, so it makes sense. But wow. So to prime the fuel system, basically, I just put fuel in the tank, siphons up. This is the pump. So as the motor spins over, pumps it into the fuel bowl, and then choke it. Sure, we're not gonna. This is going to be qualifying to set the grid for race 1. I don't know if race 2 is off qualifying 1 or race 1 fastest time. I don't know. Figure it out. Alright, so we're going out for qualifying. My goal is to get past kind of as many people as I can early on before really the hot laps start, because if I get stuck behind someone that's only a half second slower than me, it's going to be hard to get by them. So I'm just kind of trying to seize any opportunity I can to get ahead. And basically the way I see it is if I get ahead of somebody, I keep an eye on everything behind me, and if they're coming up behind me hot and they're on my bumper, I wave them by. I don't want to be the guy that holds somebody up in qualifying. I think that's silly. Like, it's qualifying, everyone should have a fair shot to put in at least a few clean laps. So this guy's hanging back behind the other guy. I'm like, all right, thank you very much. Gonna take that real quick. And then I'm like, I need to get by this guy as quick as possible. So I know my best opportunity is gonna be down into the hairpin after the hill. It's a heavy braking zone. I'm gonna try to get him there. So I see him get on the brakes early. All right, I'll take that right down the inside. I love doing that in that corner because, I don't know, it's just fun because it's so downhill and you have a lot of room to do it. So anyway, now we're behind my buddy Tim. He's a quick driver. I know I'm not going to catch up to him and slow my lap down, so we're good to go for a hot lap. So I'll give you a breakdown of the track. First right, 90. It's a flat 90. You can kind of stay forward. You kind of have to lift. You could brake and get on throttle early. It's a really weird turn. The bank turn there, a lot of G's, and then heavy braking zone here. You're coming down from 55, 60 miles an hour top speed. Then you come into this hairpin, and this one's a little odd. I couldn't really explain what's odd about it. It's just kind of tight, and it tightens up a little more. You have to go a little slower than you think. Through the chicane, forward, that's obviously not a problem. This is another one of those turns you can kind of take different ways. You can brake a little, let off, floor it. This one you got to really shoot the gap for. That is a really hard corner. The inside's a big drop-off, outside's a big drop-off. Very narrow window of turn and opportunity. Then hard braking zone down here into this hairpin, which is a nice, really wide turn kind of all the way through, so that's a good, easy turn. And then this turn has a big bump in the middle of it, so you have to kind of avoid the racing line to actually go through it quicker. Otherwise, you'll hit the bump and lose more time than you gained. All right, so we qualified 11th. I would say it's not as good as I expected. I felt pretty quick, and I felt like I was on pace, but it's only like half a second off 4th, 5th place. So really not too bad. It's pretty tight through the midfield, so we'll see what we can do in the actual race. But anyway, we're changing the plug. I guess this is the new mandatory plug. I didn't have it, so we're putting it in. The cool thing about this class and these karts is this is a 206 kart. So it's got this Briggs & Stratton 206 engine. It's a sealed engine. You can see the tag there from the factory. The engines are like $600-700. You can spend anything from like $500 on a used kart chassis to like a couple grand on a new one. But anyway, moral of the story is they're super easy to work on, super cheap to run. The engine lasts all season, the tires last. I've had these tires on. I did another race weekend and like 3 or 4 practice days, and then this weekend on the same set of tires. So very, very budget friendly, very, very competitive, because there's really not, you can't really out money someone because you can't really rebuild the motor or do anything crazy. So it makes it a lot of fun. It's really all about driver, which is why I like it. So yeah, I've just got to keep making it to races and progress as a driver. Really is the main goal here, and try to. I'd like to get into like the top 5 mix, but the class that I'm in is the most competitive one. There's like almost 20 people in it. So I mean, to be mid-pack's really not bad, and what's cool about that is it's the most competitive. So it's the hardest to get to the front. So hopefully more practice, more kart setup, we'll get there. At least in the top 5. I'd like to be racing for, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah, that'd be fun. So anyway, race is gonna start. It's sun setting. cooling off quite a bit. We're gonna go out, see what we can do. So this is the heavyweight class. I think it's 395 pounds. Well, my class is medium, it's 350 with the cart. So yeah, this should be a good race. A bunch of my friends racing this one. They're coming up to the start now. Oh man, Josh lost places. Down in third. Front pack's getting tight, pulling away. We're not gonna see him for a second as they come through the first hairpin here. Coming back. Oh yeah, they're pulling away already. Josh in third. I can't tell if that's Ryan. I think it's TJ in first. Yes, definitely. I think it's TJ, then Ryan, then Josh. Look at that. Bumper to bumper. This is what I love about this class. So starting this race, my whole goal is finish better than I started. Obviously not going to make it to the front, but the last time I was here, I ended up getting taken out both races, and by myself, I just want to battle. I just want to be in the mix, battling people for position, trying to pass them trying to pass me. Like, that is the goal. So off the rip here, I noticed the cart feels better after putting that plug in. And my friend Tim said the same thing, because we both put the plug in like right before the race, and the cart felt noticeably peppier. So I'm feeling good. We're going to the start. I'm like, you know what? Let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can keep it together, make some positions up. We're on the inside line, which is the ideal place to start. Boom, get a bad start. These things have basically a centrifugal clutch, and you have to get them wound up. So if you time getting on the throttle wrong and you let off for a second and then it goes, you're screwed. So anyway, we're coming through here. Everyone's kind of fighting for the inside, getting squirrely. I'm like, you know what? There's room. I'm going down the inside. Thank you very much. Late break. Little bit of a walk-up, but managed to get on throttle early enough to get the clutch spinning to get me out of the corner without just getting passed again by a bunch of people. Coming to this turn, these two guys are battling. I'm like, okay, I'm going to tuck in behind you. I don't know. Should I go down the inside? No. That was a tough call because they were battling. I had a bit of a run on him, but it's a tricky place to pass. He has an interesting line through that turn. I guess it makes sense. If you go far enough on the grass, you don't hit the big dip. So coming down here, I try to go down the inside. I leave him plenty of space on the outside. I'm not going to run him off track. I try to be a clean racer, and he has a better run out of the turn, so he's able to get back by me into this turn. So I'm feeling eager right now. I feel really comfortable in the cart, more comfortable than I felt all day. The cart feels quick. I got a guy trying to come down the inside on me. I'm a little worried about. And I'm like, I got to make this move happen as soon as possible, because the sooner it happens, the less of a distance there will be to the people further up. So here we go. Rookie moving 3, 2, 1. Lock up the brakes, park it, get slammed into, get passed by like all the people that I had just passed. I get passed back by. So now I'm like, dang it, man. I was on a good run. I was feeling good. I was getting there. I was working my way up. So now I got to pass these people again if I want to even get back to the position I started in, let alone, improve that. So we're coming up on this guy. He's another guy. I know most of these people, and they're all cool, so it's hard to try to race him too hard. But I see him. He doesn't know I'm there. I'm like, all right, you know what? We're going down the inside. And you can kind of get like a judge for. I left him room on the outside, but a judge for if you're going to be far enough past them to run wide out of the turn, or if they're side by side with you and you need to leave them enough room to fit on the outside. So we come in here, we're coming up on Tim, again, another friend of mine, not necessarily someone I want to just like sling one down the inside on, but we're racing, man, I want to get past him. So we come into the hairpin, I'm kind of sizing him up, I'm like, okay, I'm picking up some time on him, I'm catching him, we just got to kind of find the best opportunity to do it, and usually the best passing zones are braking zones, because you can out-brake someone, and there you go. So we're coming in here. I'm like, man, got a little bit of a run on him. He gets squirrely there, drops a tire. I'm like, all right, taking it. Not normally a passing zone, but I'm going for it. And we managed to make it stick through that turn, which is a very tough, tricky turn. So now we've got some guys up ahead of us. It's the people I was trying to pass originally when I made my big crucial mistake. So we're catching up to them slowly. I see them up the road. I'm like, all right, I feel like we got the pace. I feel like we can work our way up to them. We got this. So speed forward a few laps. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're cruising through. We're making up distance, catching, and we finally catch up. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting a run. I'm gonna go down the inside, but he goes to go down the inside. We're both down the inside. He locks up the brakes. I bump him. Lose a ton of time there. That's the tough thing when you start battling someone. You lose a lot of time if you're both making mistakes. So same corner, same thing. He goes down the inside. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go around the outside. And he doesn't know I'm there. He doesn't see me, so he kind of runs me off track. But it wasn't intentional. He just didn't know I was there. And then this was the last lap, last turn. I managed to get by him and move up a position. I think I finished 10th this race.
Because it flew awesome.
So going into the second race, I want some redemption, man. I made a big mistake. I was on a run. I'm not doing that this time. I get another poor start, and I'm on the outside. So, you know I'm not in the best position. The inside guys can just kind of force you wide. So my goal is to find a gap and jump over to the inside as soon as possible. I see that gap. I go to the inside. Now we're behind him, and I'm like, screw it, rookie move again down the inside. It's so inviting when there's a pack of people because everyone's slowing down early, and if there's room, it's just so easy to go on the inside. Then 3 dudes tangle up there. I passed another guy, the guy I battled at the very end of the last race, and then I'm sizing up this guy. I see him looking behind him. I know he's nervous. I know he is concerned I'm going to pass him. We get a big run on him. I have to let off to not rear end him. I don't want to bump him. I don't want to surprise him. I still bump him. I don't want him to know that I'm there, because if he knows that I'm there, he's going to defend, but he doesn't defend. I shoot down the inside. I leave him some space on the outside, get ahead of him. I'm watching to see if he's come over to the outside. He hasn't. Swing wide a little bit, make it through this turn. Okay, now we're in a good position. We're in, I think, 6th place here. And my goal is to catch up to the guys in front. There's not a huge gap to the leaders. And after a good bit of laps, I wasn't really gaining on them. I gained a little bit. I closed the gap a little bit, but not enough to catch them by the end of the race. And what I wasn't paying attention to was that I was coming under pressure from behind. All of a sudden, boom, I'm getting passed. I did not see that coming. I was just on the racing line, minding my own business, and then I get passed. I'm like, oh, wait a second. We need to defend this. So now my goal is to get back past this guy. Immediately I notice my kart seems a little quicker than him on the straight, especially with the draft. So I'm like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. We're just going to ride behind him, dive in on the next hairpin. That's what we're going to do. So I'm tucking him behind his bumper. All right, going down the inside. Oh, but he brakes late too, so it makes it really tough. I leave him room on the outside again. I'm not going to force him off track, but give him the opportunity to go down the inside. I try to do kind of the switch under, basically have him make the tight turn and then swing around on the inside and have a better run, but it's not a really good corner to do that because you go into that hairpin, which it's hard to fit too wide through. There's his adventurous line. I didn't even notice that while we were racing. So yeah, now he's pulled a little bit of a gap on me. He's definitely quicker through there. That is something I've already figured out this lap. Like through that section, through that tight, odd turn, he is quicker. And I guess part of that's because he's going in the grass, but he's got a little advantage on me through that section, but I definitely have an advantage on him kart speed-wise and stuff through this section. As you can see, he pulled a big gap. Granted, he makes a mistake there, but we'll catch right up to him, no problem. Coming in, boom. We're already back on his bumper, even though we hit gap decently. So I know that's kind of my strong suit area, and I know kind of where his are. Go down the inside here. Did not expect it. He didn't see it coming. Caught him by surprise. Got by him. Okay, cool. We got our position back. But this is not going to be an easily kept position. I'm checking over my shoulder. Basically, what I've got to do is defend the position by running the high ground, which is the inside line. But the more you do that, the slower you are. So what I'm doing is checking behind me. Okay, he's not close enough to make a run down the inside, and I'm just going to go. I go wide, and then that way I can take the racing line through the turn. And that's really important because, again, you slow not only you down, but you slow them down. You slow both of you down tremendously if you're running the inside line the whole time and just parking on the apex. So I make a mistake there. I wave him by, and basically what I was saying was like, hey, I made a mistake. You're going to have a run on me. Don't worry. I'm not going to, fight you. Just go. So then we come into this turn, and he makes a big mistake, and I'm like, well, so much for that. You see my hand gesture. I'm like, well, you made a mistake too. Sorry. And then I didn't expect him to fight it back. I was like, oh, wait a second. I thought we were good. We're going to have to actually fight for this. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So we're coming through here. Again, this is the section. He's a bit quicker than me. I can kind of hang with him through there. And then through here, he's just carries a lot more speed up onto that section. That's an important run because you go uphill. So if you scrub 2-3 miles an hour, that's going to cost you a lot because you're not going to be in the power going up the hill and so on and so forth. So again, my goal is to catch him. I'm not too worried that he's getting away from me a little bit here because again, I know that I'm quicker in this section. Do a little tuck, like, all right, we gotta get some aerodynamics in here. We gotta freaking get in the draft, and boom, like I said, we're already caught back up to him. Definitely had a gearing advantage on him here. All right, now I set him up there. I make him think I'm gonna go down the inside, so he covers the inside. Then I come around from a wide turn. I hold him on the inside to force him to take a tight line through this corner. At the last second, I swing out wide to give me a nice wide line so I can carry more speed. And then when he least expects it, would not expect to be passed here, boom, down the inside into the double apex right. That was fun. That was a cool move to do. And I knew I had to clip that thing this time, the inside of that turn, because it's a little quicker. And I was like, I don't even care. I'm going to clip it because I need to make sure I get a good run out of here. I know he's fast here. I know I have to do what I can. So this is us coming on to the last lap. I had seen the 2 laps to go before that, and I was like, I got to make a move, and I got to make it sooner rather than later. But I didn't want to make it too early because if I do, then it'd be hard. I'd have to defend for longer. And we managed to come home in 6th place. So we got the position at the end of the day, second to last lap. Such a fun battle. You can see me and him giving each other thumbs up. Like, win or lose, we were both just stoked that we got to battle like that. It was good back and forth. We both gave each other space. Like, nobody forced the other one off. It was good, clean, hard racing.
Dude, that was fun, man.
That was so sick.
That was awesome,
That was
dude.
awesome.
That was
good,
so
man.
fun.
That was awesome.
Oh, that was such a good, clean battle.
Yeah.
That was so
How
fun.
many times do you think we traded? At least
At least 5
maybe?
times.
Yeah.
At least 5
I was
times.
like, keep fighting, I'm coming.
Dude, that was like the most fun I've ever had racing. We were just going back and forth. We both gave each other space.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man.
All right, I have to film this clip now because I just, man, I'm like elated. I just had so much fun. I am so glad that I got into doing wheel-to-wheel racing. It's something I wanted to do for a while, especially after doing iRacing on the sim and stuff, and doing it, man. It's like, you know, I still love drifting, and drifting still my passion and whatever, but I've been drifting a long time. You know, I don't get that crazy, like, adrenaline rush, like endorphin rush from drifting that often anymore. Like doing well in a comp, like really good session tandeming. It's something I've done so much. I'm so used to it. Like my body's like, we're drifting. We do this a lot. So anyway, this was different, man. I had so much fun. The first time I went here and did a race, I had an issue with my carb adjustment in qualifying or in practice, and my cart ran like absolute crap. It ran so poorly. And so I pretty much didn't get to practice. I qualified poorly, like 12th out of 17, 18. And then I had a bad first race, got stuck behind a guy. Finally got by him, then he just ran me off track. Then the second race, I got taken out in the first turn. A guy spun. I ended up having to jump in his cart and going off into the tires. So anyway, I ended up by myself most of the race, both races. This time, I was battling most of the race, both races. And that last battle was so much fun, man. And the other guy was stoked too. We were both stoked because neither of us really cared who won. You know, it wasn't like, oh man, you beat me, like screw you. You know, we were both just like stoked that we got to battle like that. I mean, we changed places like 5 times. Oh, it was so fun, man. I just can't get over it. I had so much fun today. So much fun. We're going back and we're doing it tomorrow. Hopefully I can find a better rear camera mounting position that my camera doesn't fall off the first lap again. All right, yep, driving home. It's a really lonely 2-lane road, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, we're out here for day 2. There's a motorcycle race before our race, like mini moto stuff. I think this is the XR100 class. Oh, going wide. This also looks really fun. Yeah, that looks like a lot of fun too. I guess there was an accident, and now we're waiting for. They're like an hour behind us. Letting people try the one wheel. Oh! Saw that coming. All right, we're out here for day 2. I was so enthusiastic and had so much fun that Ben decided to buy a cart today and race today. So we bought Tim's cart, bought the whole setup with the trailer, the cart, got a really good deal on it, the cart stand. We also got from him a double cart stand. So when we go to races now, we can just both go with the trailer. We'll have both our carts stacked in the trailer. It'll make life super easy. We won't have to be, like when we go to drift events, we got to take truck and trailer for each of us. So this, we have one trailer, boom, done. So super exciting. He's about to go out. We both rented one a while back. So he's ridden one before, but it's been a while. So it's gonna be a new experience for old Benny boy here.
I'm gonna be fast.
Ripper.
Fast as that.
Absolutely. Running, I don't even know what times there are.
72s.
Yeah. So these are Ben's first laps ever in the cart. He's obviously not going to be very comfortable. And here he is, purple. First race. He started 10th. Let's see where he's at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10 still, I think. Look at that. Ben's ripping. Woo! Seems to be holding it together. It's starting to drizzle, so conditions are strange. He's on him. He's on the guy in front of him. Okay, so going into race 1, I hadn't felt comfortable at all this whole time with this layout because I had an issue with my cart wanting to hop on left-hand turns. The other track was mostly right-hand turns with a couple lefts. It was manageable. This track, mostly lefts. This is called the outer loop, so basically we're running the outer loop of the track. The other problem with this track is it's just very difficult to pass on. There's not really many passing zones. It's pretty narrow all the way through and kind of high speed. But, you know, we're going to do what we can. I try to go down the inside of this guy here. I'm like, I need to get by him as soon as possible. Can't make it stick. That was one of the turns I struggled with. Then I'm getting pressured from the inside. I leave Joe a little bit of room. We both make it through there unscathed, luckily. So I'm back on his bumper. I'm like, dude, I got to get by this guy. I'm going to brake late and take him into the hairpin. Luckily, was able to take that with enough of a run to get out of there, because obviously if you kill your run out of there, it's a long way to go for someone to pass you if they pulled out with a little more speed. So going through this turn again, even trickier now that it's a left turn for me. You know, again, this is something I've been struggling with, the cart hopping to the left, which we do figure out. I'll explain when we get there. But anyway, going through the turn, my goal is to catch these guys now. I want to kind of catch up and be in the mix. I see them. They're not too far ahead of me. Like, I've just got to put together good laps, but I'm just not doing it. I just was not very comfortable with this layout and in the cart this time. The night before, I felt great. I felt like super comfortable this way, this track, this layout. I just was not feeling it. I would try as hard as I could, and I just wasn't quick. Like, I just straight up was not quick. So we kind of chill back here for a few laps, and basically just nothing happens. I don't end up catching them. Nobody ends up catching me. I just kind of run the race by myself, a little bit of a distance ahead of the people behind me and a little bit behind the guys in front of me. Nothing too interesting. And there's the checkered flag. Woo! So kind of not the best race. And I knew this was something I needed to figure out. I had tried different stuff to figure out the hopping, couldn't figure it out. So going into race 2, we had made a big change. There's a bar that goes across basically the two sides of the front of the frame. And on a go-kart, your frame is your suspension. The way your frame flexes, the way your chassis flexes is your suspension. There's no like shocks and springs. So that's very important. And there's this bar that connects basically the two front hubs together. So really increasing the stiffness. And a lot of people with these Margay K3 chassis take that bar out. They prefer to run with the bar out. Now, I thought I had disconnected it. It's like got these two clamps, and I thought I had hammered the clamp off enough to where it was disconnected. So my friend Holden, who's up two spots in the blue suit, was like, why don't you just take it all the way out just to be sure? I mean, what have you got to lose? Just pull it all the way out so we know it's not doing anything. So we go to pull it out, and I realized that I never disconnected it. I never actually disconnected it. The whole time it was still connected. So I know the cart is going to be very different coming into this, and I'm not sure how. Obviously not ideal to learn a completely different driving kart in race conditions, but I mean, what have we got to lose at this point? I wasn't comfortable with it otherwise. So I make a little bit of a mistake there. The car immediately, I noticed it slide here, and I must have pinched my throttle cable housing because the throttle sticks here. I need to let off for that turn. I go to let off, throttle's still full blast. I go super wide. I get past. I'm like, man, this is not going very well for me so far, but the hopping is fixed. I noticed that the hopping is gone, and that was way harder to deal with than some slipping and sliding. It should slide at the limit of traction, not hop. So I'm like, you know what, I gotta get past this guy. He's getting pulled from the pack, like he's falling away. Try to go on the inside. That was my fault. But then I get under attack from the inside. I leave him room. Boom, hits me off track. I'm like, dude, what the heck, man? I am struggling right now. Like, I'm going off track. I'm sliding. Now I just got passed by 3 people because I made a mistake trying to pass one guy. Totally my fault. And yeah, it's just frustrating. But like I said, I'm realizing that the kart now doesn't hop, and I'm happy about that. It's just relearning how to drive it without the hop, because it drives totally different. It has like a different rear grip, and the steering is completely changed. Like basically how much you need to turn in, when you need to turn in, all of that stuff's completely different. So anyway, I'm learning that. Tim makes a mistake here. Me and this guy go down the inside. Cool, we're good. I'm like, all right, well, at least I made up one spot. One spot's not bad, huh? So then this guy starts fighting with the guy in front of him. He tries to go down the inside, kind of just like what I did, and screws himself. I have a run. I'm like, I'm not going to tap him in the bumper because then he'll defend. I don't want him to go in there. Goodbye. Gotcha. I totally tried to catch him by surprise on that one because, you know, if I bumped him, he would just switch over to the inside and block me. So then we get a run out of here. I'm like, okay, I just got to work my way up past the next guy and see where we can go from there. So we catch up to him pretty quickly, and again, this is a really tough track to pass on, so I'm trying to kind of size up my opportunity. I don't want to just sling one down the inside of a tough turn and force him off track, or, you know, really kind of screw him over when I pass him. I want to pass him cleanly and in a way that doesn't affect him too much, because he's another guy I know, you know, I don't know. But anyway, he's braking at all the right points. Like, when we're getting into the hairpins, I can't really outbrake him, and it's tough going into that first hairpin where you would normally be a passing opportunity because you go through the chicane first, so it's just tough to set it up. But I bump him a little bit here, and him and Tim had an agreement that if Tim bumped him a bunch, he would let him by, you know, because that would mean Tim was faster, and he thought I was Tim, so he just waves me by. We're coming on to the last lap here. So, you know, I was trying to kind of use the rest of this as a learning session, but it's kind of hard to focus on that when you're in a race. Like, if you make a big mistake, somebody's going to catch you, someone's going to pass you, so I didn't want to be trying too much stuff. I don't know, I was just kind of trying to feel the kart out, but it definitely felt much better with that bar removed, much more consistent and easier to drive. The hopping was very difficult to deal with because it would start hopping and then the fuel would slosh around in the carb, and then it would like fuel cut for a second, and like it was very difficult. So now it's better. Alrighty, we made it back from Bushnell. Absolute blast. I didn't have the best day. On day 2, it was just kind of, you know, fighting some issues and stuff. My issues were that hopping were mostly to the left, and most of that track was to the left. The other one was mostly to the right. It is kind of hilarious to me that this bar, I thought I had it disconnected. I was told by pretty much everyone to disconnect this bar, and I thought it was. I thought I had slid the one end off the bar, and it was basically, it shouldn't be doing much or anything. Wrong. It was basically still connected the whole time. So that made a massive difference, but I was learning how to ride it with the bar off, like in the race, which, you know, I was kind of a mess because I had basically way too much rear grip before and not enough flex, so the back, that's what was causing the back to hop, because this is like a welded diff. And then with the bar disconnected, it feels like I would have thought it would, how it should, and the back will slide if I push it too hard. So anyway, just a learning curve. I'm really excited to get back out to Bushnell for a practice day and see if I can improve on my fastest time around the full track with the bar disconnected or not, and try to get more comfortable in it. But super exciting. I'm so stoked. Ben's got his setup now. He's got his new trailer parked out there. Perfect little trailer for us to double stack our carts in and be able to go places and not have to take 2 rigs, and I'm stoked. So this is definitely the beginning of more 206 karting for me and Ben as well. But that is going to be it for this video and this race weekend. I'll see you guys for the next one, but for now, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, goodbye. That was let's try this again.